Okay guys, here are my final thoughts on the Volvo XC40 T5, the hybrid one, recharged. I got this car 1 year and 3 months ago. Since then, as you can see, I drove 87,740 kilometers and spent an amount of 1163 hours and 45 minutes in this car. And now, as I'm going to change it for a different car, a new car, this afternoon, I'll give you my final thoughts on the car. What did I like? What didn't I like? So when I got this car, it was March 2023. So the car was 2.5 years old, just slightly over. And why did I go for this car? It was a relatively cheap car in the leasing price, although the taxes I have to pay for using it privately are a bit higher, as it has a standard, a somewhat higher price here in the Netherlands. I think it's around about 47,000 euros. From the specifications, I always thought, because of the grille, this car would have been an inscription car. It was also advertised at the leasing company as being having the inscription package, but when I got it, I saw it didn't have it, because it didn't have the leather, which is a signature feature of the inscription package. So what we have here is a momentum package with combined with a business package. At least I don't know if it's available in the whole of Europe, but it's available here. So it's quite a relatively minimally spec'd car, but did I really miss out on features? No, not really. The one thing I really missed was the seat heating, which isn't on this car. Yeah, to say what does it have on options? It has the LED headlight, it has a rear park distance control, it has an interior rear view dimming mirror, but what do we have? We have a cruise control, which also is available as an adaptive mode. We have the multi-function steering wheel. I think it's a nice steering wheel. It could be nicer, but it's quite okay for this. We have a screen for the multimedia system and the sat nav here. We have a big digital screen here also. We have dual zone climate control. We have an automatic gearbox. I'm not sure if there are actually, regardless the brand, any hybrids out there with a manual gearbox, but here we had the automatic gearbox. We have the standard cloth seats. They were okay-ish. That's basically one thing. I think this car would have had a major improvement if it had the sport seats with leather and the heating, and then there wasn't option-wise anything I'd miss. The sound system is okay. We have the sat nav system here, which is okay-ish. To be honest, but that's a personal opinion, I'm not fond of touch screens, and then it doesn't matter if it's a Volkswagen, BMW or Volvo. I just don't like the concept of a touch screen. I like to have a controller which goes through the most important functions, or the controller which goes through all the functions, and then having, for the most important functions, some key features, key buttons here. In order to operate these key features you use a lot. I think BMW had a really great concept. They don't use it anymore, by having 8 favorite buttons which you could configure yourself. So it was just a touch of a button for the sat nav to go home, office, a touch of the button to call, or whatever you'd like. Okay, what did I notice? It was more on this car. It was my first hybrid, so charging was a new experience for me. And although I was doing it very concisely every time I could, I charged the car. It still is a slight hassle to do. What I like most when charging the car was doing it in our company garage, because there the charging cable is already fitted to the loading pole, so you don't need to get your own cable from out of the back. So, and that's basically one thing I can already say. My next car won't be a hybrid anymore. and an electric, so charging the car will definitely not be missed. As again, it wasn't a very big hassle, but yeah, it won't be missed. One serious note of critic, what I missed a lot, as you can see in the back, there is no light in the back, only here in the front. So as I'm usually traveling or leaving home quite early when it's dark, it's always a hassle to see what did I put in the back, what didn't I put in the back. So Volvo, there's one big point of criticism: please put a light in the back. That would be very much or very handy. I really miss that one a lot. One thing I also missed or was annoyed a lot is I have a holder here, and I always hang my jacket and some shirts here, and if you're pulling them out, sometimes this thing just turns and falls out. And sometimes, I mean, in this I have it 2-3 times a month, so that's also a construction Volvo could have done better. It annoyed me quite a bit too. But apart from those two minor things, and the options, the cloth standard seats, if the car would have had, to summarize, the leather seats, sport seats, have a light in the back, and a better place to hang my stuff, then the critique point of my on this car would have been solved. And for the rest, I enjoyed the ride. Of course, it's an SUV. It's by no means a BMW 3 Series or something like that. But I enjoyed sitting in the higher position. It's a very comfortable car for long journeys. And of course, it isn't the biggest car around, but I had ample space to put all my things in here. And obviously, if you really want to have big space to transport things, you maybe should get a Volkswagen Transporter or a Mercedes-Benz Sprinter van, because that's the things, the type of vehicle where you can transport a lot of things with. The limited space in a car like this XC40, I mean, you have this argument also with a BMW 5 Series estate, where people also say it's a lifestyle estate. You don't have too much room there, but it was sufficient for all my needs, the room in this XC40. Consumption wise, yeah, it's okay-ish. On average I would be driving, including the charging, 650 to 700 kilometers on one petrol tank. When you don't charge the car, it reduces the amount to around about 600 kilometers on one tank. But that's something I also noticed with the Mercedes-Benz A-Class. They are just a bit, these petrol engines use fuel in a different way as the diesel. I was used to diesel always, so the range goes down by default. And to be honest, for my driving profile, a diesel would be still would be the best car. And I do miss my 1.16 diesel I had beforehand, but diesel cars are so expensive leasing wise. It doesn't make sense to get a car economically, a diesel car, so you'd rather drive the petrol ones. Or the only way in which in the Netherlands a diesel would have a business case would be to buy a 3, 4, 5 year old diesel, which has had much of its depreciation, and then use that one to drive, because then there's still a business case. But for new diesels in the Netherlands, it's very tough to get a business case. So yeah, I'm a bit sad that I have to hand in this car. I mean, it was for the price a lot of car which I got, and I enjoy driving it. So yeah, and if you enjoy driving a specific kind of car, it's always a bit sad when handing it in. But on the other hand, I'm looking forward to my next car, which is a totally different type of car. But I think it will be fun also. And although I'm teasing you a bit on the end of the video, you probably will see the car in my driveway, so then you'll know which one it is. So finally the day has come to clear out all the stuff from the XC40. as in the afternoon a replacement car will be brought to me, and the XC40 will head back to the leasing company and be sold. And of course Freddy the Penguin, who's been sitting with me in the 1 Series, the Mercedes-Benz A-Class and the XC40 for well over 150,000 kilometers, will also go back to the new car. So to say, we're going to close the book on this car.